All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about a skill that is absolutely fundamental for anyone running a Linux system, managing the people who use it. Getting this right is the bedrock of your security, your organization, pretty much everything. So let's just frame this with a simple question. Imagine you've got this one big, powerful server, but you have 100 different people who need to use it. How do you possibly manage that without it just turning into total chaos with people stepping on each other's toes and overwriting files? Well, the beautiful thing is, the solution is baked right into the DNA of Linux. At its core, it's a multi-user operating system. And what that means is that lots of people can have their own little secure, private space, their own account, their own files, their own settings, all living together peacefully on the exact same machine. Now, to really get a handle on all of this, we're going to use a simple analogy for this whole explainer. I want you to think of your Linux system as a big digital apartment building. And you're the building manager. It's your job to run the whole show. So let's say a new person joins your team. They need a space in your building, right? As the manager, your very first job is to set up an account for them. In our little analogy, this is kind of like building them their own brand new room and getting ready to hand them the key. And the main tool you're going to use for this job, the command that literally brings a new user into existence, is user add. Think of this like your official new tenant request form. It's how you tell the system, hey, we've got someone new coming in, get a space ready. Okay, let's break this command down so it's not so intimidating. Sudo user add just means do this with your admin's superpowers. The -m flag is super important. That tells the system, hey, actually create their home directory, their personal room. The -/bin/bash flag sets up their command line environment. And of course, you just tell it the username for the new person. But wait, you're not done yet. Just creating the room isn't enough. It's really a two-part process. First, you run user add to build their space, but then you have to immediately run sudo password new user. This is the part where you actually hand them the key. It lets you set a secure password so that only they can get into their new digital room. Now, a user's role on a system, it's not set in stone, right? It changes over time. In our building analogy, maybe a tenant moves to a bigger office, or they join a new team that needs access to a special workshop. Your management has to be just as flexible as their needs. And for that, we have two more absolutely essential tools in our manager's toolkit. We're going to use usermod to change the details of a user who's already there, and we'll use group add to organize our users into logical teams or clubs. This makes managing permissions way, way easier. And this just shows you how powerful usermod is. Need to move their home directory? The -d flag is like moving them to a new apartment. Need to give them admin powers? Well, you just add them to the sudo group. Now, that -ag flag is vital. A is for append, and G is for group. This adds a new permission without taking away any of their old ones. It's like adding a new key to their keychain, not replacing the whole thing. Creating a group is even simpler. With a command like sudo group add developers, you're basically creating a developers club inside your building. So now, instead of giving 10 different people access to a shared folder, one by one by one, you can just give access to the entire developers group all at once. It's just so clean and efficient. All right, now for the final part of a user's life cycle. People come and people go. It happens. So what do you do when a tenant decides to move out of your digital building for good? The command for this is userdel, short for user delete. But this is the one moment where, as the building manager, you really have to stop, take a breath, and be extremely careful, because you have a really, really important choice to make. And I need you to pay super close attention to this. If you just run sudo userdel new user, you're basically just revoking their keycard. They can't log in anymore, but all their stuff, their files, their data, it's all still sitting in their room. But if you add that little -r flag, you're not just deleting their account. You are demolishing their room and absolutely everything inside it. It is gone forever. This is so final, so potentially destructive, that the source material calls it out with this direct warning. Always check that no important data is only stored in the user's home before using R. Seriously, before you ever type that -r, you have to be 100% certain that there is nothing of value left behind, because there's no undo button on this one. Now, deleting a group with groupdel is pretty simple, but it has one important catch. You can't delete a group if it's someone's main or primary group. Every user has to belong somewhere. So before you can delete that developers group, you first have to reassign any of its members to a new primary group using usermod. Okay, let's zoom out for a second and just review the powerful new toolkit you now have. You are now officially a fully equipped digital building manager. And here it is, the complete life cycle in 5 commands. You've got user add for the birth of an account, user mod for its life, and user del for its departure. And right alongside those, group add and group del for managing all the little communities inside your system. This is your essential admin cheat sheet right here. So why does mastering these 5 simple commands matter so much? Because proper user management is the absolute foundation of system security. Before you can even think about controlling who can log in remotely with SSH or transfer files, you first have to have a rock-solid grip on who is and who is not allowed in your building in the first place. And that leads us to one final forward-looking question. You now have the power to manage who is on your system, but what about what they're actually doing? How are you going to manage the programs and processes they're running? We'll tackle that next time.